first question that I'm going to address today is actually maybe not a question, it's more of a concern that I saw come up a number of times in some written communication with the class of 2029. So I am reading a little bit between the lines here because it was text. But I believe what I was seeing as this came up a number of times in different ways for students, that they are feeling a little bit maybe anxious about moving away from home and their friends and family, and making new friends, and what it should look like to maintain relationships with their family and friends. There's a lot of comments about spending extra time with family and friends before they move away, and so I totally recognize that concern, and I would be doing the same thing if I knew I was moving away from people that I really care about. I'd be spending a lot of time with them too, but I want to take a minute to address some potentially underlying concerns there. So firstly, I'd like to offer that I love that this is a value that students are expressing and sharing, and I love that they're taking the time to spend it with the people they care about. That is absolutely a good strategy. But I also would like to encourage students to think about how they're going to maintain those relationships, what they're going to look like, and what boundaries they may be setting for themselves as they enter into college. So firstly, some ways that people can continue to maintain relationships. Of course, the standard phone calls and text messages and emails and social media connections are great. Consider creating group conversations, whether that's in text or using an application to maintain conversations with groups of friends or groups of family members where you may normally engage in conversation in a more group setting. You can also have fun ways to stay connected. I'm probably dating myself a little bit here, but there was a movie quite a few years back called The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And so a group of friends over the summer all loved this pair of pants and traded them with each other. And with the trading of the pants came a lot of storytelling and a lot of connection. And so you can think about whether having something that travels and is shared among you may be an option for continuing to maintain connections with individuals. Another idea that I saw online from the Grotto Network that I thought was really kind of cute for maintaining relationships among family or among friends is to have a family newsletter or a friend newsletter. And if you are so inclined, you could be the person that maintains that newsletter. And if you are so inclined, you can be the person that maintains that newsletter, gathers all the information about what's going on with different people on a predetermined frequency. Maybe it's once a month or once a semester, and you gather all this information about what's going on, and then you share the newsletter back out to your friend group. Kind of cheesy, but also kind of cool in its own right. Don't forget to make a plan for when you're going to maybe reconnect in person. Is everybody going to be home over summer break or winter break, where you can plan a reunion and a get together? So having that sort of as a moment that you're looking forward to can maybe get you through those moments when you're starting to really miss your family or your friends back home. But here's the flip side. You are transitioning into college and a new community and a new kind of phase of your life. And so it's not a bad idea to also think about boundaries that you want to set for yourself, and maybe communicate to others. If you are spending all your time engaged in group messages with your friends from home, that may be taking away from your opportunity to build the community here. So I'm not saying don't have the group meet and don't connect with your friends from high school, but I am saying set a boundary for yourself about how often you're going to engage, how much time that's going to take, or just setting a rule for yourself like, I will not respond to group messages from high school friends while I'm in the middle of making friends here at Bucknell. And here's another place you may need to discuss some boundaries. It's a little bit controversial, and there are two sides to this, so listen to the whole thing. But one I'm going to say is that you may want to talk about what boundaries look like with your adults with your grown-up that you've lived with your whole life who has taken care of you. That person probably has some expectations about what communication is going to look like between you and that person as you transition to Bucknow. Does that match your expectations in how you want to communicate with your grown-up back home? That can be a moment of conflict for some people, and so making sure that everybody has the same expectations and the same boundaries is important. You know, you don't really want your grown-up texting you while you're in the middle of Management 101. You might be a little bit busy. Also, there's reasons that you do want to continue to maintain relationship with trusted grown-ups and people who care about you, because there are going to be moments when things might be a little challenging, and having them as a part of your support network and continuing to be supportive of them and nurturing that relationship is also important. So I'm not saying don't answer mom's phone call. I'm not saying tell grandma to not text you anymore. I'm saying figure out what the boundaries should be. So I want you to walk away from this feeling like, one, yes, there are ways to maintain connections and relationships with people you care about, even though you may no longer be living in the same house or attending the same high school. And I also want you to think about what transition looks like and setting up expectations and boundaries. If you need any more help or want to talk about this anymore, feel free to reach out to us in the Freeman Office of Student Services.